I turned 37 less than 2 months ago, and I'm already planning my 40th birthday. If it sounds crazy, that's because it probably is, and I maybe have lost the plot. But let's talk about the plan and the why, and I'll let you be the judge. If you want to help me with this plan, I would love it if you stuck around to listen to all of this, and if it sounds like the kind of adventure you'd like to tag around for, hit the subscribe button and keep watching. You'll see how that plays into it in a minute here too. So here's the big thing. I want to celebrate my 40th birthday for the full year leading up to it. Not in a daily sort of way and not in an entitled jerk kind of way, but in a life has been lifing really hard for the last lot of years. And I want to have something to look forward to and celebrate because the next few years are also going to be lifing hard, potentially. We have a move coming up. Probably. Nothing's concrete yet. We're going to be moving at some point between now and my 40th birthday, and I'm not particularly looking forward to it. I'm 90% sure where we're headed and don't like it. But it is what it is. So I'm just trying to give myself a little something to look forward to, and I'm going to the game plan is for my 39th birthday to be the kickoff party for a full year of like doing it for the plot and just doing all of the things that I said I've wanted to do and haven't done. Because life is short and there's no guarantee of anything. And I want to have the experiences that I've said, yeah, let's do it, and never gotten around to. So that said, the big plan, the big portion of this for me is that I love running and I love runDisney and I love Disney. It all plays together, right? And I just finished up doing the Dopey Challenge down in Disney World, which is basically 4 days in a row of running. You do the 5K, the 10K, the half marathon, and the full marathon back to back to back to back. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of early mornings, but it was such an incredible time. And I want to do it again. And it happens to be 2028 is the year that I will turn 40. It also happens to be an anniversary year for the Dopey Challenge. And it is an anniversary year for something to do with the Princess Half Marathon weekend. Maybe the whole weekend, maybe the challenge. I don't know particularly, but it's all good because my plan is to try and do a perfect year of runDisney for my 40th trip around the sun. So that is a huge portion of it. If you aren't familiar with runDisney events, they're very expensive and travel gets really expensive. So what I've done, I've made a whole spreadsheet of basically how much money I want to have set aside and to help me cover the costs of doing this because I am a stay-at-home mom, which leaves me with a little bit of opportunity. Like I am very fortunate. I will address this to begin with. I am very fortunate to be a stay-at-home mom and to have life covered. Like my husband's job covers our living expenses and we're okay. Like we're fine. But once we go over these numbers, it's not a small amount of money to do what I want to do. And my goal is to find some way to make money and cover most or all of those expenses. So the game plan on how to make money relies very much on social media. Ironically, I sat down to make this plan the other day and it was the day before I think TikTok went belly up. It seems to be working a little bit better now, but who knows what the future of that app looks like. And so I am coming back onto YouTube to try and grow with the long form content. My kids are still small and one is home all day with me, so it's a little more complicated to do, but we're doing it and I'm giving it my best try. I also do some like artsy craftsy things on the side. I recently got into painting on pants, which sounds almost as crazy as this whole plan. But if you've seen the concept of like senior jeans, they were not a thing when I was a senior, but I thought they looked fun. And I did them for the Dopey Challenge and they were very popular. And I just painted 3 more pairs for friends that are down in Disneyland right now. And I'm hoping to maybe potentially paint and sell a few more pairs of those as we go through the next two race seasons. prior to when I would need to register and everything. So with that out of the way, I basically try to rely on social media, maybe some odd jobs, yard sales. We're moving. I need to downsize stuff. I knit, I sew, I do all of the things. I'd like to find some little like small things that I can make and sell, and then the painted pants, and hopefully growing a platform on here. Now you see why I said I would really love it if you subscribed, right? I am going to be planning to do monthly updates on here with kind of my social media stats, sales, how much money I've made towards my goals, because the number is quite large. The number is very, very large and daunting. The thing is, it's going to have to be spread out, which we will get into shortly. Psych. Soon is a very relative term. It's been a day, literally 24 hours. Since I said that, but my kids got home and it got very, very loud in my house, as tends to happen. But today we're going to talk numbers, because numbers are fun, also scary and overwhelming, right? But that's okay. That's why we're getting a 2-year head start on this. Sort of, kind of. Not really. It's fine. So I sat down and kind of made a budget for what money I would want to set aside in order to feel like I'm covering at least most of the expenses related to this. Everything is a guesstimate, because who knows how much things are going to cost in 2028. Things tend to go up though, not down, so I overestimated. The first thing I included was Club Run Disney. If you are at all familiar with Run Disney events, they are not easy to get into. Aside from being expensive, they sell out very, very fast. They do offer a service membership thing called Club Run Disney, where you can pay money to have guaranteed times to enter early into races. So rather than trying to enter with everyone else, there are a select few people who are able to pay to get in early and have guaranteed registration as long as they follow their little special link before regular registration. It's expensive, as all things are. So I put this on the list. The thing I did not realize as I was putting it on my list is that I would actually have to have it, I think, for 2 years in order to see the full benefits of the membership. So it's a very iffy thing, because I would also have to, I'm not 100% sure how registration works. I have to dig into this a lot more, but I believe I would have to sign up for it in June of 2026 in order to have membership for the 2027 year, which would then be possible in 2027 to register for the 2028 races. But then I would also have to pay for it again next year in order to get the perks of the Club Run Disney stuff for 2028 when I'm actually at the races. So I'm not sure of the value add. I need to crunch some numbers on that and kind of see where we're at for it. I don't know. But I just included, the top one is about $900 right now, and so I just rounded up to $1,000, and that would actually almost cover 2 years at the current price of the next membership level down, which would also probably be fine. So I estimated $1,000 for Club Run Disney. I may use it, I may not, I don't know. Registration is the other big, well, no, honestly, when you look at all of this, registration is another large item, but not even the largest on the list. So I built my estimate based on doing all of the races every weekend at Disney World. This is assuming that they don't bring Disneyland races back by 2028, because that would add a whole other cog in the works, right? So as of right now, I'm planning for 4 race weekends at Disney World, and doing 4 races on marathon weekend, 3 the rest of them. Depending on themes and things, I may not do 5K if I like the challenges or whatever. It's all subject to change. But assuming I want to do a perfect season, essentially, but on my terms, I don't know. I estimated about $2,700 for race registration fees, which is absurd, but that's where we're at. I also budgeted for flights at $500 round trip 4 times, so $2,000 for that. We will hopefully be moving closer. I don't know what that will change for flights, if I will be within driving distance, that sort of thing. But that also, if I don't need it for flights for me, it would cover flights for like possibly my mom to get down to me to watch my children, or babysitting or whatever. Essentially setting aside $500 per weekend for travel purposes. The big ticket item here is hotels. I estimated about $6,000 for 4 hotel stays. It would probably be less than that because I was basing it on a whole week, which I would not do every time. For marathon weekend and Dopey, it is almost necessary to stay for an entire week because you have the expo on Wednesday, you have races Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Medal Monday comes around and you'd like to be there for that. So you have 6 days minimum, 5 days minimum. I'm old, so I don't want to fly home or drive home the day after a marathon either. So approximately 6 days that you have to be there. So you want to get in the Tuesday before and fly out at minimum that Monday night. So you're looking at basically a week, but the other ones you need to be there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And it's not building up to a full marathon. Flying home after a half marathon sounds a lot less daunting and dangerous. So it's a little bit more flexible on those. I would need maybe 5 nights or something in a hotel rather than 7, and that saves you a good bit of money. But I, again, overestimated because that sounds safer. The other one I put on here is an annual pass at $2,000. It's probably going to be less than that, but again, overestimating. And then that can include like the annual photo pass, that sort of thing that can kind of get lumped into that price. So that brings me, I'm gonna have to turn around because math is not my thing today. That brings me to $13,700 for those things. So I rounded up to basically $15,000 that I would like to set aside for this. I currently have 0, so that's going super duper well. The other big thing, and if you say, Jessica, that's 2 years, you don't have to raise that much money and, per month or whatever. Here's the thing. The timeline also gets a little crazy. If you think back just a second to like my Club Run Disney rant, I have to start registering for things. The money has to start being spent in March of next year. So I essentially have a year to build a platform, start selling things, whatever. And that's gonna be the most expensive race registration too, because it's Dopey. So you're looking at a solid chunk of money out the door in one go. But March 2027 is Dopey registration for 2028. And June is Princess registration for 2028. July 2027 is Springtime Surprise registration for 2028. And then you get a little bit of a break. We're not even considering when I'd have to book flights in there, deposits on hotels, depending on just how all of that goes. And then January 2028 is when you start to see like your travel expenses of paying for the hotels as you get there, your annual pass, that sort of thing. And then February 2028 would be a very expensive month because it is Princess Half Marathon weekend. All of the travel associated with that, plus registration for Wine and Dine. But that ends the registrations. So it's kind of, I don't need to have $15,000 up front. I need $15,000 over the space of this. This isn't even including like a Uber or bus when I get there, food. There was something else. Oh, I was really generous and put annual passes for my family on my list of like big goals because $15,000 isn't a big enough goal, but taking what we can get here. So that would essentially double it if I wanted to include everybody's annual pass plus food for more than just me, that sort of thing. So for right now, we are settling with the $15,000 goal. And we need to start reaching those goals pretty quickly. This sounds more delusional the more I talk, but it's fine. It's totally fine. The biggest thing is going to be getting started, building a platform, monetizing things, and then going into actually selling physical items in person around me as well. So now that we've gotten the big number talk, I don't know what that just did, big number talk out of the way, that's really fun and not scary at all. I have set up some charts on my computer that we'll start talking about next month. The first Friday of every month, I will be doing a Bankroll My Birthday update and seeing where we're at and and how it's going until I hit my goal or until it gets too embarrassing to admit that I'm nowhere close, right? Because at some point, I think at some point I do have enough ego to say this is absolutely ridiculous and not working out and just delete everything, potentially. So maybe subscribe so I don't have to delete everything. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you feel so inclined, and be sure to watch the next update in this wild harebrained idea. I'm not gonna say adventure because adventure is just so cliche at this point, and I've already put the word cozy in my channel title and I just cannot. Anyway, have a wonderful month, day, year, I don't know. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you next time.